Everybody, Will here from 1459 Studios, and today we're going to talk about whether or not Paul Reed Smith guitars can do extreme metal. Hey everybody, Will here from 1459 Studios. Thanks for checking out our new video. Today we're going to talk about my favorite guitars, Paul Reed Smith. I have been playing these guitars for the better part of 20 years or so at this juncture. Fell in love with the brand when I was about 12 years old at a local guitar store that I grew up in and still frequent regularly, Dave's Guitar Shop in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Go check them out. They're an awesome store. I fell in love with the brand by just being able to play so many different instruments there. They didn't discourage anybody from playing anything, even things that a 12-year-old kid couldn't afford. So played high-end Gibsons, played high-end Fenders, played high-end Ibanez, ESP, all the brands, and they're also great guitars, but I just fell in love with Paul Reed Smith guitars, and I figured if one day I could afford one of those, I've made it as a musician. Today I am proud to say I'm endorsed by the brand, and I use them regularly both on the road and in my studio. And oddly enough, this is the first one I ever got, and it was the color I fell in love with. It was the first one I ever saw, was an emerald green PRS Custom 24, and in about 2007 or so I was finally able to afford one, and this is still my number one. So let's talk about all the different guitars and how they sound. So the biggest reason to do this video for me was not only just the endorsement aspect of things or loving the brand, but from an extreme metal side of things, people don't necessarily think of Paul Reed Smith. They might think of a band like Opeth or Between the Buried and Me, who are wonderful bands and bands that I fell in love with the brand, but they don't think of death metal, they don't think of black metal. The only real player out there that's doing it is Paul Allender from Cradle of Filth fame, but beyond that, most of the time when you think of Paul Reed Smith, you think of guys like Tremonti or Santana or people like that. So I wanted to make sure that I could showcase that these guitars really can do that and do that well. So the first one we're going to talk about is my 2006 Custom 24. This one has the HFS and vintage pickup configuration, the old school 5-way switch. Pretty standard setup. It's a 10 top for people that like the cosmetics of things. Otherwise, it's completely stock. I've never modded it. It's been the exact same way since I got it. So let's see how this guy sounds. All right, so the next one I'm going to show you is my 2018 Custom 24. This one has the 8515 pickups in it. They're a little bit brighter, a little more attack, a little more articulation. That's why this is my main guitar for my death metal band, Coffin Rites. This one just has the 5-way blade, traditional Strat setup, if you will, volume tone, non-10 top for the cosmetic folks out there. This one is just my workhorse. I love this guitar. Let's just see how it sounds. All right, the next one is a little bit newer purchase for me. I haven't owned this one as long, but being that I live in Minnesota and I'm a big Prince fan, not the Vikings, I felt it was important to have a purple guitar. So this is a 2011 Custom 24. It is a 10 top, and it has something a little bit different from all my other guitars. It's a rosewood neck. So it has quite a bit different sound and feel than my other two. The 5909 pickups on this one tend to be a little bit darker than the 8515s, and I really, really like it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So let's check this one out. All right, this is a special one. This is the first one that I bought with my actual endorsement with Paul Reed Smith. This is my 2021 CE 24 limited edition mahogany neck. Very cool guitar, 8515 pickups, like my Custom 24, bolt-on mahogany neck. Just love this thing. Traditional 3-way switch, more like a Les Paul. Does have that nice attack and cut of the 8515, so this is another one that I use in my death metal band Coffin Rites. Really, really a special guitar. They're hard to find with the mahogany necks, so when this one came in the Daves and Lacrosse, I had to buy it. So Very cool guitar. Let's check it out. So this one's really cool and really different. I bought this one on a whim when it came into Dave's. This is a 2021 Fiori, and definitely not a guitar that you would think of for metal, especially death metal. I was really pleasantly surprised when I found out how great it sounded for it, actually. I ended up buying this as a studio guitar because it's just a tone monster. You've got so many different options, in phase, out of phase, 5-way blade switch, all the different configuration and sounds you can get out of these Fiori pickups. Sounds great for everything. It's a great blues guitar, it's a great rock guitar, but it sounds really good for metal too, which really kind of surprised me. It's definitely a different sound and a different feel than the Custom 24s and the CE, but I thought it would be cool to include in this video because I don't know too many people going, well, I'm going to get a Mark Lettieri Fiori for playing death metal, but it can do it. It can do it really well. So I could do a whole video on all of the sounds that this thing can do, but it's really an impressive guitar. So let's have a quick look at it. So the age-old question in the Paul Reed Smith purist world is, are the SEs a good guitar? And in my opinion, the SEs are wonderful guitars. This is my 2016 SE Limited Rosewood guitar, and I'm not going to play anything on this guitar on purpose because everything else that we've done in this video is an off-the-shelf Paul Reed Smith. Completely stock, not changed, no mods. This one's heavily modded, so I don't want to misrepresent what Paul Reed Smith intended the guitar to necessarily sound like. I love the original pickups that came in it, but I just didn't really care for the cream look of them. So I changed them out to Seymour Duncan Black Winters, and I upgraded the tuners to locking tuners as well. It's a really great guitar. I record with it regularly. I play with it regularly. It's a wonderful instrument. If you can't quite get all the scratch together to be able to do a USA guitar, these are an excellent choice as well. So I definitely want to encourage people to check these out. So the last one in the Paul Reed Smith line that I really haven't covered is the Mira series. Now, I owned a Mira Core for a while, and I just didn't jive with it. It's honestly the only Paul Reed Smith that I haven't jived with. They only made them for a short period of time, but the Miras kind of became the Santana model, so I can't speak if that can do metal or extreme metal well. I really loved the feel and the sound of the Mira. I just couldn't get used to the big body, the flat body. So I ended up trading that in and getting this guy. This is a 2018 Dusty Waring CE, and I'm not going to do any sound comparisons on this one for you guys, simply because I've only owned it about 2 weeks and I don't have it set up to be able to do this tuning yet, but I figured it's a really cool guitar to show off, and it's available in a ton of cool colors, and if you like Floyd Roses, Paul Reed Smith's got you covered there too. So plus Between the Buried and Me is one of my favorite bands, so definitely a wonderful guitar, so definitely want to check these out as well. Hopefully after watching this video you can tell that Paul Reed Smith can handle the metal, the death metal, the thrash metal, all those wonderful things. I hope by checking out all these different instruments you find the one you're looking for. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, Will here from 1459 Studios. We proudly use and endorse Tone Vault audio cabling and Paul Reed Smith guitars. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you like what you hear, be sure to check out my bands Coffin Rites, Plague of Stars, and Chalice of Suffering.